and I'll be sending out a follow-up email after the webinar that will include the link to go see that recording from this webinar. All right, so a lot of you have probably either heard of me or have spoken to me already. I'm Tracy. I work here at BrandCo. I'm your success coordinator, and I specialize in blogging, SEO, and namely everything that Piggyback Blog does and can do. I set up a lot of one-on-one calls, and if you ever have a question, you can feel free to set up a time with me or in one of these webinars, which I hope to be having every week now. You can come in, ask the question. The way the format of this is going to go is that I'm going to, for the first 30 minutes, go through instruction, little tips, tidbits, a lot of the questions that I get answers for, that I get asked questions about on calls all the time. Then I can let the floor get open so that any of the questions that you have about your own specific blog, I can go in and answer them, and everyone else may have that same question, or someone that watches this video later could have it as well. So for some of the people that are in here, you're probably new to Piggyback Blog and you haven't logged in yet, or you don't know what the purpose of the blog is to begin with. This is Anthony Bowling's website. We made his responsive refresh, and this page that you're viewing is actually a page that is located inside of his Piggyback blog rather than through his e-agency website. So there's a lot of options that you can do when it comes to utilizing the Piggyback blog instead of utilizing the e-agency website as far as your internal links go. For one great explanation on that as to why you should use the Piggyback blog for any internal pages, or the whole purpose of the Piggyback blog is earning that SEO. So I'm trying to find an internal link. All right, this will work. All right, so an internal link inside of an e-agency website, you know that it has the ATJ user / and then it's got the name of the page, getaction.do, or if it's an additional page, then it has the listing of being additional page equal to a series of numbers and the getaction.do at the end of that, which when it comes to search engines like being able to have an idea of what your content is that it's going to be serving the people that are doing their searching. They're going to look at what the URL is that you're giving them because it needs to be descriptive. So the difference between that, like if you look at Anthony's Deanwood community page, so we have blog.anthonybowling.com/Deanwood-properties-for-sale. So that helps search engines right off the bat know that this is a properties for sale page that includes Deanwood. So it's a great way for search engines to have an idea of what's going to be offered to the person who's making the query on the search engine. So if you have ever logged into your Piggyback blog, then awesome. If you haven't, we'll talk about it at the end of the webinar to make sure that you're all set up and that you have your Piggyback blog and that you're able to use it and that it's set up properly on your domain. So this is my Piggyback blog, and I can pretty much put whatever skin on it that I want. So don't let that get you distracted. But everybody, whenever they purchase, has a URL that goes first name, last name, or something in between, .piggybackblogs.com. So we don't want users to use that whenever they're coming to visit our website. We don't want them to use that URL. So whenever I go in and I set up the domain name, it properly will then display as blog.yourdomain.com. So that your domain is what's earning the search engine optimization on the internet. So like if you look at Anthony's website here, If you ever want to see if any of your pages are properly set up, you can tell if they're being indexed by doing site colon yourdomain.com. And you can see he's got 212 results, which is awesome considering his site hasn't been up for more than a month or two, but we've been trying to add a lot of information into his blog. And you can see that a lot of these URLs begin with blog, but we have an idea of what they're going to lead us to because they're descriptive in their URL making, unlike the e-agency additional pages. So if you look, for instance, here, this is my Piggyback blog, and it sits within a responsive refresh. So I have all my content in one place, and my website functions all under one domain. If you want to log in, you can either, let's see, if you're on your own domain and you want to log in to your website, let me log out so you can see what the process to log in. Okay. A lot of people can go to Piggyback Blogs. Well, everybody can. This is one way that you can log in. You go to piggybackblogs.com and you can click login. And then it'll give you your username and your password area. I usually send that by email, and the password is editable. However, the username is not, and it is generated in our system whenever we create the Piggyback blog. So if you're going to log in, you're logging in there, and it's your username and your password. And you can get to your site at any time by adding wp-admin to your blog.anthonybowling.com or yourdomain.com. If you put wp-admin, it'll automatically take you to your login screen. Another way to log in is through the meta area. There's a button here that, because this is log out right now, if I wasn't logged in, it would say log in. All right. Now that you're able to access your actual Piggyback blog, it's, the most important part of your blog is going to be this section here, posts. Now, I get a lot of questions lately about what is the difference between a post and a page. And I use this acronym or, comparable way to look at it a lot. To me, it's like if you're in a bookstore. Your magazines, which are something that comes out on a regular basis, carries information in them that usually doesn't stand the test of time, or it's more like current, like this is what's going on right now kind of information, is more like a post. When it comes to pages, however, pages are more of that static content that will allow you to showcase something for a long period of time, and you don't have to go in and update it on a regular basis to keep it current. So this would be something like your About page or a Contact Us, or I suggest these for community pages as well. And I liken them to like the books in our bookstore versus our magazines. So let's say we're in Orlando, so I use the definition of like a community for something like Avalon Park or Baldwin Park. And I have a great blog post written out here about Baldwin Park. And this is a great blog post. Now, if I wanted to make this an actual page, I could do that as well. And it would be something that people could go to at all times. So if you're going to be creating a blog post, it will show up on your blog page. So for Anthony, if he writes a blog post, it will show up in a list under blog.anthonybowling.com. So these are all posts that we're seeing in here. And I get quite a bit of questions regarding the Wolfnet WordPress plugin for these pages. It does not allow you to have your searches show in this list, because if you had like 10 posts showing on this page, then each post was like displaying 50 searches. Then that would be 500 properties that your blog page is trying to load, and someone's going to end up just leaving before they ever even get the page loaded. So if you're going to create your first blog post, you can go under Posts. You can click Add New, or you can click All Posts. If you click All Posts, you have an option to click the button up here as well, or see all the posts that you already have. So if you click Add New here or Add New here, you're going to go to the same place. Whenever you are creating a blog post, think back to when you were in high school or college and you had to write an essay and your title needed to be descriptive so that, the teacher or the person you were writing this article for knew what you were talking about. So if you're writing a blog post about staging a rental home for snowbirds in Orlando, Florida. Then a title like this will have keywords that include like rental home, staging, snowbirds, Orlando, Florida. It's very specific. It's got a lot of different options in it for the search engines to work off of. And then from there, we're going to start writing the actual blog post in the big area down there. If you go down here, you can start writing. No. And the great thing about it is that anything you're writing here, you can go back and change at any time. Ma'am, if you can hear me still, would you mind muting your microphone? Okay.
Is it financing? Okay.
I'm not sure. Viewer 13, I can't control her microphone, but next time what I'll do is I'll just have the mic turned off for all viewers so that we won't have this issue again. As you know, this is my first go around for the Piggyback blog, so I appreciate everybody's patience on the technology side of this. So thanks a lot.
Right. Do you happen to have an inspection report you would be willing to share?
So whenever you're writing a blog post,
it's great gotten that far.
Structure. Yeah, give me a second.
Okay. Well, I will tell my buyer that it's back on, because I know when, I got a hold of her that day right after, or I guess when we showed it, and she said, I just can't make a decision this quick. And she said, but if for some reason it falls through, let them know I'm interested. Well, then she had interest in another property, and then that got sold or went under contract. So she's kind of back, and we haven't looked again, but I'll just let her know that it's back on the market and see what she thinks. Right. That's true. She loves that. She really likes that neighborhood. So, right. That's okay. I understand. Okay. Great. I'll let her know. Thank you. Bye.
Can everyone hear me now? Okay. Well, let's try to get this one over with, and then I know that well, we won't do this where the mic's open again next time, okay? Then we won't have to worrying about it. Okay, so creating a post about staging a rental home. Um, when when you are writing the post, you want to write in your own words. I have a lot of clients that come to me and they want to ask if they can grab blog posts or articles from other places and copy and paste them in. And while a lot of the information that you grab from other places is great, useful, awesome information, put it this way: someone's already getting credit for that information on the internet. So Google's like, well, someone else already put this on there. Why would I give you any credit for for the blog post? So I instruct people to do it this way. If you find something out there that's written really well and it's really great information, rewrite it in your own words. Now, there may be like nuances that that person used that you don't use, and there may be things that you can add to it. So, like if someone in Orlando probably would stage a home differently for rental properties than someone over in like somewhere in Texas or something. So be sure to like put yourself in the things that you write. And the other thing is, don't worry about the keywords. Don't worry about writing for the search engines. Write for your clients. And I have a lot of clients that ask me, they don't know exactly what they want to write about or anything like that. And the things that you do in your everyday life are exactly what you should be writing about. Your realtors, your clients have questions all the time, and those questions are the information you should be sharing through your blog. Like, I have Miss Connie Morrell that calls me, and she knows that I haven't filed for my homestead exemption yet. So, it's not an easy process here to be able to I'm sorry, I'm losing my place by watching the chat area. So it's the process where you want to put the things out there that your clients are going to want to read, and the things that they want to read are the questions they're asking you already. So, I mean, I don't mean to put that information on your blog and to make all your clients just go to the blog instead of answering their question. I think that you should, take the information that and make it that wealth of knowledge that is available through your website if someone hasn't had a chance yet to reach out to you. Whenever you're blogging, be sure to use your own words, how you would talk to someone conversationally. Now, if you're staging a home, I would probably put this into a list, like, these are the things that you need to do, and everything else. I don't really want to write a blog post over the webinar, but I want you to know how to. With staging a rental home, I may also add in, a photo. And photos are kind of like a go-to. Like, you need them in your blog post, because how many books have you picked up and you don't really, well, I guess that's not really the best way. How many magazines, because our posts are magazines. How many magazines have you picked up that don't have photos in them that you've actually read through? So if you're going to add a photo into here, the way you're going to do it is by going under Add Media. And from there, you can upload and select files from your actual computer. So if you have something on your desktop that you've been meaning to put on your blog, that's your way to do it. Or if you already have uploaded photos, they're going to be shown in your media library. So from here, you can click any of them that you're wanting to add in. And inside of here, you have the option to add information for each of these photos, or change the alignment so that it's going to sit left, center, or right. If something's going to sit to the left, then your text is going to wrap to the right. If something sits to the right, then your text is going to wrap to the left, sorry. If it's sitting in the center, then your text is going to go above it and below it. It's not going to wrap to either side. On the area where it says link to, you can go to an attachment page, a custom URL, or nothing. This is like if someone clicked on that photo, where they would go. Now, I wouldn't worry too much about this area. This is really easily editable. But I mean, it's always nice to have it to where you can just go see the bigger version, especially if you're trying to sell a house. That's great too. You can change the size, so you can have it thumbnail, medium, large, or full size, and you can see the dimensions of the photo there. So my go-to, I don't know how many times I've done this. I do it with all my own blogs on my own personal projects and everything else. I like having a photo at the top, like to the left, for all my text to sit to the right of, and that's just my go-to. And most people probably don't do that, but that's what I do. So everything sits up here, and when I look at it this way, it looks like it's like right up against it, but it looks different whenever I've posted the actual blog post, I promise. So if you wanted to change the URL to this, or you wanted to link to another blog post that you've written, you can click the actual image, which allows you to edit any of the settings that you put in, or you can X out of it or delete it, in other words, and you can change the link here. And if you're looking for something inside of your own blog, then everything's going to be listed through this area. So writing the blog, if you wanted to add in things that are more important, like headings, you can do that. And if you have a category, like let's say it's automatically blog every time. But if you add the category and you publish, it adds it to your actual URL. So if this is specifically about a community and you wanted to make that part of the URL for the search engines, then you're going to be able to do it that way. And I'm starting to run out of time for the instruction period, but I have the feeling we're going to get into some other stuff whenever we get to the question asking section. So I'm sorry if I didn't cover everything that everybody wanted to. And just remember, this is the first one. So, any criticisms or anything like that to try to make this better for next week, all about it. If you want to create a page, you do the same thing. You create it the same way. It looks exactly the same inside here. It's just it doesn't link to your blog page. If you want to put this on your e-agency website, there's a different route to go through in order to be able to do that. Just like how Anthony has these links in here from the blog in his menu bar for his e-agency website. In order to have them there, you have to log into your e-agency website and go to section 3.1. So is there anyone in the chat that wouldn't mind me logging into their account? I probably have your logins already. And what's your name, hun? Viewer 13? Okay. I got a name. Let's see. Hold on. There we go. All right. Hey, Kim. Sorry about sniffling. I forget that I'm on a mic. Just so you guys know, if y'all log into a webinar again next week, you're able to put your names in before you click to join. So that'll help me familiarize myself with you guys, and I know most of y'all by name because I do all your domain stuff, and I'm your go-to person for the right off the bat whenever you purchase. So we're in Liz's account, and we're going to go in and add something to her 3.1 section to add it to her menu of her website from her Piggyback blog. So there's multiple ways to get to your e-agency website. You can either click on Home, e-agent website admin, which will open it in another browser. That doesn't really work for what we're doing right now because you won't see it. Or you can go under Technology, e-agency agent websites, and then click either here or here, and they both go, all three of them or all four of them go to the same place. So this is your agent website, your admin tool area. If you go under section 3.0, section 3.1 customizes your navigation. So if we wanted to change something in here, you can see how our nav is currently laid out. And if we wanted to add a link to that, we would go under additional links. It automatically will say add new link at the top here. So we would add in a title. And obviously it wouldn't be blog posts. You'd want it to be descriptive enough for your users to be able to see. And then you could pick a category, and neighborhoods is a really nice one. Everybody has a neighborhood section in their website. Now, if you're adding something to your neighborhood section and you're not seeing it pop up on your menu, it's most likely hidden because it's just easier to work around your menu whenever we make these, unless you already have a goal of having community pages. If it's from your blog, you're going to click Same Window because it's all in the same website. And then your URL is going to be the one from your website, from your blog post or blog page that you just made. So let's just go to one of here. Let's just do my sample page real quick. So I click View, and that'll show me the URL to the page. So I'm going to copy it, and I'd paste it here. So you have your URL here. You don't have to put a description, and then you can click Save. So neighborhoods is part of this. So we go under here and look. The viewer that just joined, would you mind? Oh, I think you probably already did it. So we're on Liz's site, and under neighborhoods is where I added blog posts. So you click here, and you're able to go directly to the blog. Of course, they're on different websites because I built the blog post in a different site, but that's essentially how it's done. That's how it's added. So let me go in here and remove it. Blog post. I prefer to click No, don't publish it, and then click Delete because sometimes this management area for your menu is a little funky from Keller Williams, but we learn a lot of workarounds. Okay, so I'm going to open the floor up to questions, and it's easier if I get them through the chat, but you can feel free to say it by mic if you want. Awesome, Liz. You've got a blog post in here. Been a while though. And this is what I was meaning about the property lists from Wolfnet. If you see it on your blog page, it's going to say click here to view property list instead of listing it out whenever we go under actual blog post where it shows all of them. So, and if any of you don't have the Wolfnet WordPress plugin, I definitely recommend it. It's really, really, really nice. Each of these pages ends up being part of your actual blog or actual domain. And anytime someone decides to search for this house or that house in here, it gives you credit rather than mlsfinder.org. Can you show how to add a community page and where it should be added on the eAgency website? Okay. All right, I'm going to do so on Liz's. Liz, can you give me a community page, a community that you serve? Okay. So my first step is that I'm going to go under the Wolfnet Search Manager. And this looks just like your back end area for your back office area for Wolfnet. So is Briar Meadow, is it a place or is it? Okay, so it's probably a subdivision. So we click to go to subdivision, and we have to click B to go to Briar Meadow. So BRI, Briar Bend. Oh, it's one word though. Briar. This is the fun part, guys. Briar Meadow. There's a couple of them. I'm just going to do the first one, right? Well, you know what? I'll grab them all. Yep, there we go. And I click Add. And from all the Briar Meadow listings that are on this, there are 14 matches. So I'm not going to make it any smaller of a subsection of choices. So you scroll down, go to your save. Okay, and save this as something that's descriptive enough that you'll remember what you were trying to do with this. If you ever end up needing it again, like a year from now, it'll help because you're going to end up putting a lot of searches in here over time. So now we have our saved search, and I'm going to go under Pages and click Add New. And the way I like to do these is to put the name of the community and then put Homes for Sale. So inside here, Liz, you're going to have to add content. And I would add photos as well. Like, why would people want to live in Briar Meadow? What amenities does Briar Meadow have? Is it close to this shopping center or that shopping center? Things like that. And then after that, you can put in your search. So you click on the Wolfnet shortcode builder, and I prefer the listing grid because it shows the photos of the houses and where the houses are located, and I think that's just so much more user friendly. So listing grid, and I'm just going to put Briar Meadow. Available properties in Briar Meadow. And we're going to include the map. We're going to do it above. You can choose no map, a map below, or map only. And then we're going to find our saved search, Briar Meadow Homes. And then we're going to insert it. So from there, we have pretty much everything we need after, of course, Liz has content and stuff in place, and we're good to go on that. Now, this area down here, this is something that a lot of people have been asking about, but I think I'm going to leave it off till next week because a little bit of setback today, but I did want to get into this. I have video that I'll attach to the email that I send out to everybody with this recording of this webinar, though, okay, that does explain this area. So we've got everything we need for this actual community page, so we're going to click Publish. And we can go view it so you know what my area here looks like since you saw me create it. So Liz has to come in and write our content and our photos. But this is all the properties that are available in Briar Meadow. But we need to put this over in our menu. So we're going to grab this URL. We're going to copy it. And we're going to go into her navigation and put Briar Meadow. Find the category Neighborhoods. We're going to put same window. We're going to paste this in. And we're going to click Save. So if we preview the site, we have our Neighborhoods section here. And then you see Briar Meadow. And we click to go to it. And we are on her community page. But the last piece of this, you notice that when you're in the blog, you no longer see neighborhoods in the list for the navigation. So inside the blog, you're going to have to go into a separate section inside here called Appearance, eAgency, and bring over the look again from eAgency. Now, when it comes to community pages, I think it's a lot easier to create a lot of community pages all at once, and then to go add them to your eAgency menu, and then to only have to do this actual refresh, as little as possible. So, to be efficient, Work smart so that you're not having to do your work over and over and over. Can we blog about a new listing, price reduction, etc.? Yes. A new listing is probably one of the best things to blog about. I've told multiple agents over time that it's always awesome if you have a new listing to go ahead and make a blog post about it. So and when I mean to make a blog post about it, I mean to do this before you've submitted the listing to your MLS. This will allow you to have the first content on the internet regarding that property. That's a big help. And in that suggestion, I suggest that you make the title be the actual um, address for the new listing. So if someone's looking in an area and they happen to be like, oh, this is the one I want, and they end up searching just for that URL or just for that address, then you're more likely to come up first. Add photos that you, let's say you have better high resolution photos than what you're able to submit to MLS. Put them here. Any of the photos that you took for yourself or walkthroughs or anything like that, go ahead and add them there too. So that's what I would say to do for new listings. When it comes to, what was the other thing? Price reductions. I don't think they're going to be as, you can still blog about them the same way, but they may not have as much of an impact on SEO because they're already listed on the internet and all that kind of stuff. But in most of the like price reductions and stuff like that will come through with your Wolfnet properties that you have on there. They update themselves, so if something's sold or a price is reduced, they'll update and show those changes. Viewer 5 asks, is there a step-by-step guide available to show how to add the searches in neighborhoods? Yes, I have a video that is specifically how to walk through that entire process that I just did. On the email that was sent out about the webinar, you'll notice that there's an area at the top that says Piggyback Blog Tutorials or Blogging Tutorials. If you go to that, all of the tutorials that I've made specifically for piggyback blogs are in there, and that's one of them. If you want me to directly link you to it, I'd be more than happy to. Everything is on our YouTube channel regarding specific piggyback blog stuff. But we do have some other videos that are WordPress specific, but they kind of get muddled for our piggyback blog people because they're not always specific to all the things that we allow you to do on piggyback blogs. As you know, Piggyback Blogs is a big network, and we only allow specific things so that for the safety and the security of everybody else's blog. So do we have any other questions? Sure. If you want to give me an email afterwards, you can just send me an email to that address, and I'll give you, like, ask for whatever tutorial specifically that you want, and I'll get it to you. Viewer 13, I feel like I don't know enough to ask what to ask. Well, I'll have another one of these next week. So if you have you now know how to log in, or if you watch the beginning of this webinar, you'll be able to know exactly how to log in. Whenever I send out the logins, it does include a video that says how to create your first blog post. But I do also schedule appointments, and I'm going to start having open office hours. That is like an area of time where you can just log in. I can automatically see your desktop, and you can shoot questions at me, or if you need a little bit of hand holding, that's what I'm here for. like I said, with sending the links, you can, if you send me an email, I'll know exactly which mark this is, and I'll be able to send you the links that you're actually looking for. But if you go to the actual URL, that URL has every tutorial in one big playlist. You can pick each one you want to start with. And whenever I'm done with this webinar, I will be sending out an email that will have the recorded webinar, like that we just finished, and there's also links at the top that will take you to our tutorials and everything else. Don't look at it as being forced to blog. I think that blogging is something that comes by nature, and it's something that you eventually, like if you get your foot wet, like in the water, like just take a little bit, put the toe in, and then go from there. Eventually, you're going to start realizing, oh, I can make a blog post about this, or be out on the town and realize that there's this new event that's coming to your town, and you want to, hey, maybe I should put this information on my blog in case more people in my area or people that are looking to join us in this area want to go to it. Once you've went to it, if you actually go to these events, take a couple of photos. Say how much fun you had. I've randomly ended up on multiple real estate websites specifically just looking for fireworks shows at the 4th of July. And I'll end up reading a blog post from last year about how it was and all that kind of stuff to gauge whether or not I want to go this year. So it's the things that not everything in your blog has to have real estate purpose. Look at it as a way for you to get your information out and to share the things that are going on in your community. We also have a blog on BrandCo.com where I've been sharing information in our blog that will allow you to get a little bit more from your website. I've written some blog posts. I believe I call it WordPress specific ones are here. To go the extra mile to earn SEO, about Google Analytics, things like Jetpack, things like that as well. If there's ever a question that you have, I do record videos specifically for clients that want to know how to do a specific thing. That's totally doable. If you are like, well, I wrote this, I need this to happen, maybe someone else needs that information as well, and that gives me the opportunity to make another tutorial. All right, well, I'll quickly go over the SEO area on the page that we just made for Liz, since we've still got like 12 minutes left or so. All right, Briar Meadow Homes for Sale. Obviously, the key word of our blog post here, or blog page, is going to be Briar Meadow. And it's, if I was writing about staging, then it's probably going to be, the key word is going to be staging. Pay attention that this says keyword, not phrase. It can be Briar Meadow Homes. That would be okay too. So this is kind of like what people would be looking for when it comes to the search engines. It automatically tells me that in my article heading, I have this keyword, so I'm good on that. My page title has that keyword, so I'm good there. My page URL has that keyword. I'm good there. My content doesn't, and my meta description doesn't. So I need to write about whenever I'm writing, I should include Briar Meadow Homes in it, so that it's included in the content, and they'll satisfy this like it just did. The meta description is something completely different, and it really has nothing to do with anything you have written on this page. So let's go to Google and put in Briar Meadow Homes and just go see, like, okay, I've got results here. And let me find a good one. Well, all these things here, this is a meta description. This is a meta description. That's a meta description. Now, this is the only one out of all of them that's actually set to be a specific thing. The rest of them are just pulling the first 156 characters of the content. Now, whenever I write something, my first couple words or first sentences are kind of like just leading up into the information, that build up to make someone read. And it's kind of different whenever I want people to click on me from search engines. So, some awesome stuff about Briar Meadow. I'm just going to guess at this, Liz. I'm sorry if I'm completely wrong. Briar Meadow Homes for sale. This community is a great one near shopping areas and very kid friendly. Homes in the 200s with new construction. So you can see that it is ticking me down to like how many characters I have left and all that kind of stuff. And you can see that it's added all this up here, so it gives me an idea of how this is going to look in search engines. Now, I may also want to change this so it doesn't say real estate news at the end. I'll show you that too before the end of this. So, Briar Meadow Homes of, where are you located? Where's Briar Meadow? Houston. In Houston, Texas. So that's a nice, thing to put into your search engine. So I'm going to go ahead and click to update this so it gets all updated in here. I'm getting all green. That's great. But I'm getting an OK button up here instead of green. So if you click on page analysis, there's an area inside here that'll be like, hey, you've really messed up here. I only really pay attention to the areas that are red. And it's telling me I don't have enough content, which we both know because Liz has got to follow up and do this content for us. And then it says no images appear. So once we do that, then once we add those, then this will be a green light post. And it's good to go. It'll look nice on the search engines because it's got great keywords and all that kind of stuff being used. However, don't feel bogged down by this area. You can have a successful blog and a successful blog posts and pages without ever touching this area. But what really matters is the content that you put in here. Okay? And if you wanted to change where it says real estate news all the time here, you can do that under settings, general, and you can change it here. So Liz McNeil, Realtor. So now all your blog posts and everything will say that at the end. And the other thing was about how many people have read a blog post. The great thing about that is a thing called Jetpack. And it's already installed. You're seeing more here because I'm a super admin, and I apologize for letting you get confused like that. But Jetpack has an area where you can click Activate under Plugins, and this turns it on. Now, you'll have to have a connection with WordPress.com, and this is a separate login than your Piggyback blog is. So let me go into mine, and I can show you under here. Jetpack here, once you set it up with WordPress.com, it gives you the ability to view your page count. So it has an area that will show up on your dashboard called Site Stats. And of course, nobody goes to my blog, my Piggyback blog, but it's just for me to do tutorials off of and for testing. But you can see that I had one view on July 15th, and you can see the stats off of it. You can see where they went and all that kind of stuff. So that's nice. And there's other ways to do analytics as well. There's your Google Analytics, and if you ever set up Google Analytics, they give you a code that begins with UA, and you put that code right here where it says Google Analytics tracking code, and I believe it tries to help you through that, or yeah. You add that code here, and that lets it track your actual agency website. But then you're going to have to go into the blog and bring over that new code under Appearance, eAgency, refresh. There are a couple of other stats about that as well. I have a video for how to properly set up Google Analytics, also in the YouTube link that I gave earlier. And there's also a blog post comparing 3 different ones that I get a lot of questions about, which are Google Analytics. Jetpack is my main recommendation. If you don't want to dive really deep into the statistics and all that kind of stuff, and you just want to know if people are looking at your blog posts, I think Jetpack's awesome. And then there's another one that's been very popular lately called Clicky. And I can't get past the interface of Clicky personally, but it does really nice live tracking and heat tracking. So if someone lands on one place for a very long time, it knows and it'll do a heat map for you. So yeah, there's like 3 different ones that I recommend, but there's obviously tons more than that. Hey, I think I may have time for one more question if it's a quick one. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna put this to a close, and I'll be doing another one next week, and there'll be another invitation that'll go out to everyone. I really appreciate everyone showing up for this. It makes me feel good that everybody, like 10 people, show up to my first webinar, and even though there's been complications and stuff like that you've stuck with me through it. And I'll have this up for you, and I'll send out another email to follow up, and I appreciate y'all showing up. And if you have any questions, you know I'm available. Just email me, or we can set up an appointment. You can do either of them straight from the email I'm going to be sending out. All right. Thanks, guys.